Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to show you how to do a bead weave with 3.4 millimeter rondelle stones. These are water tourmaline. You'll be needing some bugle beads. These are size number 1, 3 millimeter. 3 millimeter leather cording. We will be using 2 leather and bead cap here. You'll need a size 10 needle and 0.006 Beadle on Wildfire thread. I'll be using beige, but you can use black, beige, or white, whatever your preference. So let's get started. So for starters, cut off about 3 feet of thread. That way you have extra, and you want to go ahead and you want to thread your needle. Once you get your needle threaded, take one of the stones and go towards the end of your thread, and you want to leave a tail, and we're going to go ahead and tie a knot around your stone. This will leave a marker. This will be our starting point on the thread. Go ahead and tie a knot. Next, you want to pick up 5 more stones, so you will have 1 row of 6 stones total. Here we go. And set it on down to the stone that you just tied at the end of the thread. Here we go. And this will be row 1. So we finished the first row with 6 stones. We will be doing a total of 11 rows with 6 stones each. So I'm beginning the second row, and here's my first stone. That will be the top of the second row. I'm going to the first stone of the first row next to it, and I will be going up with my needle through the bottom of this stone. And the first few rows are kind of tricky to get going, but we're going to go up through the bottom of the first top stone of the first row and pull your needle through. You want to pull it nice and tight. And now we have 2 stones side by side. This will be your first row and second row. And I'm going to go through the top of the stone of the second row and pull my needle through nice and tight with my thread here. And now we have 2 stones side by side. So this will be the pattern that you'll be doing for each set of stones going down for a total of 11 rows. And so you want to go down through 1 stone with your needle, back up through the next stone, back down again through the previous stone, and you'll have kind of a square pattern with your thread connecting each stone individually for each row. So here, I'm trying to close up here. You have the 2 stones with the thread going in a square motion around them, if you can kind of tell. And now we're going to pick up another stone, and you're going to repeat the same pattern all the way down. So we're going to grab another stone, bring it down the thread, bring it down across from the other stone, and we're going to take our needle and thread, and we're going to go back up through the stone from the previous row and pull our needle through nice and tight. And then we're going to go back down the stone we just put down there on the second row and go back through the top of this stone. And you want to hold everything in place with your one hand while you're trying to like hold everything and pull your thread nice and tight. And you want to pull your thread tight, not too tight so it snaps, but tight enough where it will hold everything in place. So here I have 3 rows so far of stones. Now we're going to pick up another one. And again, you want to have it meet up the stone from the previous row, go up through the bottom of the stone from the previous row, pull your needle through. And as you're pulling your needle, you want to make sure it all lines up next to each other. It will be kind of all over the place when you're first going through. They want to like bend different directions. And then we're going to go back through the top of the stone we just added and pull the needle through. And it also sometimes wants to go to the very top of what we're making here. You don't want that to happen. You want to make sure it goes down just through the top of the one stone we're working with and then pull tight. So now you have 4 stone rows here. And we're going to go 2 more. It's going to be 6 stones going across each row. And you can kind of start to see a pattern forming here. And pick up another stone. I love working with watermelon tourmaline. What's nice too is you can pick out different colors if you want to have a different look, and you can also use any stone that you would prefer. Okay, so we have this one back up through. So again, we're going to go through the bottom of the stone from the first row and pull our needle up straight. Try to hold everything into place a little bit. Sometimes they want to get tangled up. There we go. And then we're going to go back through the stone we just added, down through, pull your thread tight, and now we've just completed that row. So I'm going to pick up another one and we'll finish this row off. So now we're going to stack up the next row. This will be our 3rd one. And again, you want to go ahead and pick up a stone. And we're going to have it go back over the last row that we just completed and have them lay next to each other. And we're going to take our needle and thread and go up through the bottom of the previous stone that we just left off with. Get my needle in there. There we go. Pull our needle through. And you want to help them kind of line up a little bit. The first stone's a little bit tricky. And go back through the top of the stone. This is the stone we just added. And they lay next to each other and they have kind of like a box pattern again with the thread. So we have them laying next side to side, and we have 3 of them side to side because this is going to be our 3rd row and we're going to be going down. So you want to pull your thread tight, make sure that they're nice and secure next to each other, and pick up our next stone, and we'll start our 3rd row. And I'll be posting directions on the bottom in text, and I'll try to do some photo ones so that way it makes a little bit more sense. So we've got our next stone up, and again, we're going to go through the stone next to it, up through the bottom, pull our thread through. So they are again side by side. Pull your thread tight. Go back over through the top of the previous stone and back down. Holding everything in place with your one hand, and pull your thread tight and down, and here you go. And now we're starting. We've got 2 stones into our 3rd row. I know it doesn't feel like they really want to stay put very well, but it'll get better as we add more stones. Add the next one. And again, you're going to do this 6 times going down. Go back up through the 3rd stone of our middle row here. Up through the top. Pull your thread tight. Back up through the top of the stone we just added and through. And now we're halfway through our 3rd row. So we're just going to keep going. And I'll finish this and I'll be right back. Here's a close-up. Here we go. Next, you want to grab 2 bugle beads, put them on your needle, come down to the end of the thread, and we're going to go through the bottom of the gemstone bead of the first row that we're working in, and you want to pull your cording tight. Now this is going to create this little circle right in there, and that's going to be where we put our leather cording through. So you want to pull it tight, and we're going to go back up to the next bead, pull your thread tight again, and add 2 more bugle beads. And we're going to do this pattern till we get to the end of the gemstone row of 11. So we're going to go up through the next top bead. This one has a little bit more thread in it because it was my starting point. All right, here we go. We're going to pull tight. So again, you want to pick up 2 bugles. I'm going to rotate this around, makes it a little bit easier. Go down through the bead, and pull your thread tight. And this is going to make the backing of the gemstones that's going to hold the leather through. So we're going to go back up through the bottom of the next stone, pull your thread tight, grab 2 more bugles, go up through the stone, and you want each stone again to be directly straight as you're going back through, up and down. So you want to use the top stone, the bottom stone, top stone, so that way everything is lined up perfectly as you're going through the back here. Pull your needle through nice and tight, and you might have to kind of move your bugles around here a little bit to get them to cooperate. Pull tight, and you can see where your back's starting to form with the bugles. So again, as you're going behind, you want to go up through the top stone like this, back down through the stone next to it, pull your needle nice and tight, pick up 2 bugles, and then go back down through the stone on this row. And it's a good thing I'm almost done. I'm running out of thread. You definitely want to have 3 to 4 feet to make this project. Go back down through the stone, pull your thread tight, and we're almost finished with the bugles on the back. All right, so I finished my back with my bugles and I'm at the end. Next, I'm going to take my needle, my remaining thread, and I'm going to go through the top bar here. I have to pull my needle off because I actually don't have enough thread. But you would want to take your needle back through this hole that we're creating here. Take your thread back through, and we're going to tie it into a knot. Take your needle through, tie it into a knot, and you can do this pass a couple times. And then I would suggest using just a small drop of glue. Just had a mind blank. The threading glue. And you want to go back through, and it will just help secure everything. Here we go. I'm going to use my tools here because my needle and thread isn't long enough. And pull it through and tie it tight. And now you have a knot. Oh, sorry, I just shook my camera. Now you have a nice knot that'll secure everything. This will be kind of what the front looks like. You have a little curve of your stones here. You're going to curve around the back, and we have an opening. So now we're going to grab our leather and finish the bracelet. But here's what your stones will look like. They'll be curved, and it'll be kind of like a cute little bracelet bar. And once you know your knot is secure, you can trim off the rest of your tail. And here we go. You can also use a needle, not a needle, a thread zapper, and that will help burn off the remaining thread, and then you won't have any little strands like this. So I will go get my thread zapper and clean this off better. Next, you want to cut your leather cording according to size, and you want to leave probably an additional 1/2 inch for your lobster clasp. So when you're measuring, you can pull it around your wrist, decide what you feel comfortable with, but you don't want to have it meet leather to leather. Then it'll make your bracelet too big because you'll need room for jump ring as well. So I would take off 1 inch. That will leave room for your connectors, a jump ring, and your lobster clasp. So for me, I'm going to cut it about 6.5 inches. And you want to have 2 pieces of leather, because we're going to be using 2 pieces to go through the center of the bracelet here. So we're going to match the ends and trim. And you want to feed these through the center of your gemstone wrap here. So we're going to go through here and feed that through, and then you'll want to have this sit in the center of your bracelet. And feed the second one through. Might be a little tight, so you probably have to like mess with it a little bit. Okay, getting this through here. And then you want to take one of your endings, and you're going to put the 2 pieces of leather here in the center. And you want to make sure they're flush with the inside of the connector here. You want them in all the way and in the dead center here. And then I'm grabbing some flat nose pliers. That way we can press these closed. If you wanted to add glue in there, you could, to make sure you had that extra level of security with your leather inside, and then press this closed. Go ahead and close it. That's the other thing, if you glue it in there, it's going to stay in there. You don't have to worry about it rotating around. Okay, I'm going to grab my pliers, and I'm going to try this again for a third time. And we're going to pinch this closed. And you can just go right over the side, over the top, and on the other side and pinch it closed. It is a bail made by TerraCast. I love these. And you just want to pinch it closed and get your leather in there. You can also flip it around to make sure you're pressing down on it nice and tight to make sure everything is in there held securely. And then just a tip, I would say, just in case, make sure to measure on your wrist again before you add the other end clasp, in case it's too long, before you add it on there. That way you know to shorten your leather. And I'm going to add the bail on the other end and hold it in place. And grab my pliers here and pinch closed. And you just kind of want to hold everything securely with the one hand while you're doing it, and pinch closed. And when you start the pinching process, it will hold it into place. And then again, rotate it over, clamp down as hard as you can, and the bail will close and will pinch in around your leather. And if you did want to add glue for extra security, it doesn't hurt if you want to glue it into place first. Just don't use a lot, because when you pinch this down, the glue will come shooting out the side, and it might make a little bit of a mess. Just go ahead and press that down. And there you go. And next we're going to add a lobster clasp and our jump ring. And next you want to go ahead and slide a jump ring through, attach your lobster clasp, and attach a jump ring on the other side. And you've finished. Yay, that was exciting. I don't do a lot of bead weaving anyways, that was a lot of fun. So then you finished your bracelet. You have your two ends connected, and you have your center gemstones here in the middle of your bracelet. I'm gonna try this on, see how it works. Awesome. Here you go, how pretty is that? Woohoo, we did it. Thanks for joining me today. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and TikTok. And please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you again on the next video. Have a great day.